Here's a phrase you've heard before, probably more than once, maybe from a friend, a stranger online, or blasted across a song chorus. I don't need a man. Sounds empowering, right? But buried inside that statement is a confession most people completely miss. And once you hear it, you genuinely cannot unhear it. Let's get into it. First, a quick detour. There's this recurring complaint that rating women's physical attractiveness on a numerical scale is objectifying or misogynistic. It's worth addressing, because it's actually pretty easy to dismantle. Women evaluate men constantly. Phrases like, you could do better, he's not good enough, or that's an upgrade. All of these require women to perceive hierarchies of value in men. That's what evaluation literally means. Assigning a value to something. The only difference is that women tend to use abstract language rather than concrete numbers. But the mental process is identical. A behavior that both genders engage in equally shouldn't be labeled a problem when only one gender does it. That's not consistency, that's a double standard. Beyond that, rating physical attractiveness is actually grounded in empirical research. How do scientists measure attractiveness in studies? Likert scales, often on a scale of 1 to 10. That's the methodology. So the outrage is somewhat misplaced. But here's where it gets genuinely interesting. Women are just as capable of objectifying men as men are of objectifying women. And in fact, it may be more prevalent, hiding in plain sight, embedded in everyday language, and almost never called out. Case in point, I don't need a man. Now, stop and think. When women say this, what always comes next? What's the justification? Is it I don't need a man because I already have love and emotional support? No. I don't need a man because I have consistent companionship? No. I don't need a man because my social and emotional needs are fully met? Still no. You already know the answer. It's almost always this. I don't need a man because I have my own money. I can pay my own bills. Read that again slowly. If you don't need a man because you have money, what does that tell you about what you believe men are actually for? These are their own words. The logic is right there on the surface. If financial independence is the reason a man isn't necessary, then the implication is crystal clear. Without that financial independence, he would be necessary. Which means, in this framing, a man's primary function is as a financially exploitable resource. That is textbook objectification. Not of women, of men. And here's what's remarkable. This version of objectification is far more widespread and socially accepted than the reverse. It shows up in songs, in movies, in casual conversation, in feminist rhetoric, and nobody bats an eye. It's practically celebrated. Meanwhile, has anyone ever heard a man say on camera, I don't need a woman because I can handle my own physical needs, thank you very much. Can you even picture that being said publicly without immediate backlash? The asymmetry is glaring once you see it. Now, here's the thing, and this is important. Neither form of objectification is being condemned here. The point isn't that women are villains for considering a man's resources any more than men are villains for considering a woman's physical appearance. Men factor in physical fitness during mate selection. Women factor in financial fitness. Both can and do lead to objectification. And honestly, that's been happening for hundreds of thousands of years. It's baked into biology. It's embedded so deeply in culture that most people don't notice it unless they're actively looking for it. And that's okay. Calling something wrong or immoral is a judgment layered on top of reality, not reality itself. And if you're going to apply judgments, consider this. Mate evaluation, in all its forms, likely serves a biological function. It guides reproductive behavior toward indicators of health, stability, and survival, which increases the likelihood of offspring thriving. Nature doesn't really care about our feelings about the process. So here's the takeaway. The next time someone says, I don't need a man because I have money, understand what's actually being communicated. Not strength, not independence, an inadvertent confession about what they believe men exist to provide. And to anyone, man or woman, who finds mate evaluation offensive, the discomfort is understandable. But the practice itself is ancient, biological, and universal. Getting offended by it is a bit like getting offended by gravity. It was here long before the outrage, and it'll be here long after. Stay sharp, stay honest, and pay attention to what people reveal when they think they're just venting. What do you think? Does this match your own experience? Drop it in the comments and share this with someone who needs to hear it, or someone who's going to argue with every word. Either way, the conversation's worth having. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications for more of this. Thanks for listening.